What's up? What's up? This is Jawan Buford, broadcasting Detroit, Michigan, and I'm coming to you today with a small plate. So, I've had a number of business partners ask me um, about strategy I've employed for approximately 20 years now, in a variety of different endeavors that I've been involved with. And, people refer to it as a lot of different things: walking your community, walking your neighborhood, driving for dollars, following your dollars, or me, I just call it simply dropping in on business owners, right? And, whenever I felt like my business was suffering, whenever I felt like my production wasn't right or my retention wasn't right, or maybe I'm just looking to break into a new industry, right? I'm looking to kind of change up my portfolio of clients. I've employed this endeavor time and time again. And I guess it's one of those things where you get so good at something, you do something right, and then for whatever reason, you go away from it. Well, in 20-degree weather, yes, I have gone ahead and I've begun this strategy once again, that has always paid dividends for me. So I'm gonna give a little bit of framework, right? Mindset, but most of it's gonna focus on execution. Like I said, it's gonna be a small plate. So here's the thing. The first thing I want to focus on is mindset. All right, that's what I'm going to share with you. Whenever I make up my mind to drive for dollars, so to speak, number one thing that I would impart with you is, look, personally, eat the fruit, spit out seed. My goal is not to sell, right? My goal is to go out and make new friends. My goal is to go out, meet business owners, and I want them to like, know, and trust me, because I know at the end of the day, if a business owner or people, period, like, know, and trust you, they're more inclined to patronize you, right? Do business with you. So I'm not walking into these business owners' place of business looking to sell anything, especially unannounced, right? I'm sitting at a coffee shop now. Somebody randomly sat down across the table from me and started spilling their brochures all over me and giving me some type of presentation without even qualifying me, shaking my hand and finding out whether or not I have a least bit of interest in them. I'm more than likely going to be very dismissive of them, right? It's just kind of like, I don't know, common sense, right? So my attitude is, I'm going to make a new friend, right? I want to shake somebody's hand. I want to get them to like, know, and trust me. Part of the deal is dress code, right? And once again, eat the fruit and spit out the seed, right? I dress accordingly to the neighborhood. So I'm in an A-class neighborhood, probably have a suit jacket, polo shirt, maybe even a regular dress shirt. I'm going to have on dress slacks, a nice pair of dress shoes. And I'm always going to keep the jewelry present, but to a very minimum, right? If I'm in a B or C class neighborhood, well, instead of the suit jacket, I might have the polo shirt or a nice sweater or a polo shirt, what I'm wearing now, with dress slacks and some dress shoes. If I am in a C or D class neighborhood, I'm probably going to wear some dark jeans. I'm going to wear a sweater or polo, particularly in this weather, right? Um, and that's how I'm going to walk in through the door. And then, of course, the dress shoes. And once again, keep the jewelry, keep the bling bling to a minimum. All right. The other thing that I tend to focus on whenever I'm doing drops, because look, when I am driving for dollars, I'm looking for the quickest turnaround possible. So, will I introduce myself to companies and corporations? Yes, I will. But at the end of the day, that's really not the goal. I'm looking for small business owners, 10 employees or less. Because when I walk into the door, guess who I want to meet? The business owner. And the more employees or staff personnel that a business has, the greater likelihood that there's going to be more and more people. There's going to be more and more bureaucracy. Or I hear some people refer to folks as gatekeepers. Call it what you want, right? I'm not here to get political or get caught up in the vernacular, but there are going to be people there who oftentimes feel like it's their job to prevent you from getting immediately access to the business owner. So let's call it that, right? So I tend to focus on small business owners when I want a quick turnaround. And yes, I will drop in on a corporation every now and again too. But if I drop in on a corp, I'm going to be attired appropriately. I would not walk in like this. And if I walked in like this, I'd have to sweater off. And I'd probably be wearing, for the purpose of this discussion, a PPO Sour Legal Shield polo shirt, right? Something with the branding on it, okay? And still the dress slacks and regular shoes, right? Now everybody does it differently. I'm telling you what's worked for me. So there it is. The other thing is, you need to know what the assignment is before you begin the process of dropping on business owners. In other words, what's the value prop? What am I looking to communicate, right? Because you don't have a lot of time. When you first shake somebody's hand, you have like literally 2, 3 seconds to make an impression. So You don't have to be perfect, but keep your script tight, right? Know what the assignment is. Know why you're dropping in. So with me, you know, when I first step into the door, I'm thinking about a couple things. Number one, I'm either there to help a business owner or entrepreneur make better business development, legal, and financial decisions, right? Or I'm there to help business owners acquire, retain, and keep their best employees focused on their focus, right? Which is their jobs. Help them worry less about the problems at home, whether it be issues related to fraud, identity theft, garnishments, tickets, family law issues, et cetera, right? Um, and then, of course, the other tool that I have in my toolbox in terms of communicating the value prop is I am more than willing to pull out the app. I'll pull out the app in a heartbeat. And if someone asks me, what is this all about? I'll say, I can show you better than I can tell you if you don't mind. And I will literally pull the app on my phone, pull up the active screen. I'll give it to them. I'll tell them to hit console and I'll let them explore the app. All right. So now you kind of have an ideal of knowing what the assignment is, right? And once again, for the purposes of discussion, I'm being real sourceful in terms of the audience I'm presented to. Anyways, any respect. Next up, I'm gonna go back to the attire, right? Let's revisit that for a moment. I'm coming in with the Franklin Planner, a slim folder, my iPad, because I'm always gonna be ready. I'm gonna come back to that in a moment, or a very slim portfolio. I'm not coming in with a bag and a bunch of marketing materials and thousands of folders and handouts and flyers, because the person, when you walk in, they're looking at you like this person is coming to sell me, and the guard's gonna go up. I take a minimalist approach. Right now, there's some things I will have on me, and we can get into another conversation or talk. But the bottom line is, it's very minimalist. Okay. Um, Today, you know, I'm rocking like I said, the polo, the sweater, dark jeans, dress shoes. Why am I doing that? Because I'm getting ready to give a presentation to a mechanic shop. I'm not trying to come in looking like $1 million, and I'm going to be talking to some blue collar workers who are in there grinding, getting greasy, and they're going to be looking at me sideways. I don't want them thinking anything but they can identify with me. So they like, know, and trust. Right? I'm not going to come in overdressed, right? And this is a mechanic shop that I just recently followed my dollar with, right? I had them make some repairs. I shared the app with the business owner. Um, Pretty much asked him, hey, would you be terribly upset if I shared some information about how I can help him out in terms of running an adult daycare? And he kind of chuckled because he knew what I was talking about right away, right? People calling off work, people calling off sick, people calling off slick. And I said, if I could share a way with you to kind of prevent those things from happening, would you be open to it? He says, yeah. I took out the app, I shared it with them. And then we scheduled the appointment literally a couple business days later. It is what it is, right? Um, and let me stress this again: minimal jewelry. Now, I don't need look. I don't have time. I said it's a small plate. It's gonna be minimal jewelry. All right. So how do I introduce myself? When I first walk into an establishment, it's hello, handshake, regardless of who greets me. Hello, how are you doing? Handshake. Look, my name's Juwan Buford. I'm your neighborhood PPLSI and Legal Shield representative, right? Or if I'm representing my company, I'll say I'm a representative for company A, B, C, and D, right? But that's how I'm introducing myself initially. And I let them know right out the gate, regardless of whose hand I shake or who I greet, because some people don't like to shake hands, right? In Detroit Metro, we got different communities, different traditions, morals, ways of doing things. In respect, I'm gonna extend myself. I'm not gonna stand too close. I'm not gonna stand too far back. I'm gonna be about maybe 3 feet away. Not close enough for the person to smell my breath, but close enough for them to read my intent, look into my eyeballs, right? Okay, there it is. And I'm gonna let them know right away. Look, I'm not here to sell anything. Yes, I do leave that. I'm not here to sell anything, right? Because number one, a lot of these buildings also have non-soliciting. I'm not here to solicit. I'm not here to sell. And I'll say, look, I'm just simply here to introduce myself to the business owner, to let them know as the neighborhood representative of company A, B, C, and D, in this case, PPLSI Legal Shield, that, I'm here to be of service. And I just want to make sure everyone in the surrounding community knows and aware that we're here, right? And that's the extent of it, right? That's exactly what I share. And then I will present my business card. Now, let me say this. Please don't do the knockoff stuff. You know what I'm talking about, okay? Get a company business card, or if you're promoting yourself as a brand ambassador for your company, use Canva, use something sharp, use something like, don't be cheap, right? Anyway, I don't have time to go into that, but don't be cheap, okay? It's worth it to invest in a nice looking business card. First impressions, right? So anyway, and I'll present my business card and I'll say, look, it's a business owner available. And 9 times out of 10, guess what? It's the business owner. So I had this situation happen once again a couple of days ago. I walked in the owner of a furniture store. I asked for the business owner after I said I'm not here to sell anything. He said, "Oh, the business owner is me." I said, "Great, fantastic, right?" And I kept the script tight. And I said, "Look, I'm the neighborhood representative with my company. At some point in time, I'd love the opportunity to share with you how we can be of service." He says, "Do tell." And I said, "Look, we are highly effective at protecting employees from issues related to identity theft and fraud, and distractions could be taking place at home. So you're not feeling like you're running adult daycare." He kind of chuckles a little bit. I said, we know what transpires, whether it be the traffic tickets, garnishments, it can be a headache to you, et cetera, et cetera. If I could show you a way to kind of limit those type of distractions and strain on your budget, would you be open to that? He said, "Sure, yeah." And then he gave me a tour of the furniture store. Usually doesn't happen that way. Usually the business owner is like, "Oh, you got your card, great, fantastic, right?" But he gave me a tour of the furniture store. So guess what? I formed him. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. Once again, that's going to be a small plate, so I can't go into it. Family, occupation, recreation, motivation. That's what we talked about. I did not talk shop. I did not spend time trying to sell him on the service because I'm not there to sell. I'm there to develop a relationship as quickly and efficiently as possible. In this case, it was fantastic. I got to learn about his children, what schools they attend, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Back to what his hobbies were. Great. We have a great relationship. It was a great follow-up conversation. All right. Had another situation occur where I dropped in on another, I think, car, automotive, something like that. But the business owner didn't immediately present himself. Instead, it was one of the employees. So how do you deal with an employee? How do you deal with someone who believes they're there? Because that's the point, right? They want to handle the responsibilities and avoid introducing to the business owner if they can, right? That's the business owner hired him for. And I shook his hand, went through the same script, right? Handed him a business card, business owner there. He says, "Well, how can I help you?" I said, "Oh, I apologize." Oh, don't get snarky. Don't get mean or nasty, because if that person has influence over their employees, you're in trouble. You're not getting to the door. And if you get into the door, it's not going to be a good result. So I said, "Oh, I apologize. Are you the business owner? Are you the person that handles employee benefits or legal matters? You make legal decisions for the business?" Of course, that person wasn't. He says, "Oh, no, I'm not the owner, but I can introduce you to the owner." And he introduced me to the owner, right? Owner asked me what's this all about, because the nature of the shop, I could tell right away it was only like maybe 1 or 2 employees there. I could have led with employee benefits, but I opted to lead instead with the small business value prop, right? So I said, "Look, if I can show you a way to limit your business development expenses, to limit, I keep the script written down. So I want to keep this tight for you all, right? Because I'll be honest, I have a couple approaches that I use. Oh, cool. So here's the one I use. So I said, "Look, if I can show you a way where you can save thousands of dollars in business expenses, financial, legal, marketing, purchasing goods and services, would it be worth 15 minutes of your time?" So that's typically my approach when I'm marketing small business plans, right? Because I'm angling for the legal services, I'm angling for the Business Plus supplement, which provides savings in terms of marketing and around the clock, online consultation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, we have our member perks, which saves a lot of business owner expenses, right? So that's what I share with them. Would you be terribly upset if I took 15 minutes to share that information? He says, "Yeah." I said, "Look, I'm not here to sell anything. If I were following you in a couple of days, can we have that conversation? Can we schedule a time that works best for you?" Right? He says, "Sure." I said, "You tell me, morning or afternoon?" If he says morning, I say 8, 9, or 10. If he says afternoon, 1, 2, or 3. Why? Because I got to pick up kids at 4. Right? So you get the point, right? And then we schedule the time, and I got an appointment with them. So that's kind of like the approach, right? Going into it. Once again, keep the script tight. I'm looking to be curious, and interested, not interesting to a person. And if the business owner, once again, is exceptionally curious, I'm going to pull out that app. I'm going to demonstrate. I'm not going to show what it does. I'm not going to tell them what it is. I'm going to demonstrate how it can help them, right? which is always great to have that app. I think that's the best marketing tool that we have. Okay. Now look, here's the thing. So I've gotten their business card. They have my contact information. If you really slick with it, I have something called Blink. Well, I'll say, hey, would you be terribly upset if I text you my website? And they'll say, sure. Well, guess what? When I text them my website, I have their phone number, right? And then you'd be surprised. A lot of business owners say, oh, this is cool. You have a digital business card, a digital website? Yeah. And they'll go ahead and they'll download Blink, and I'll have all their contact information, right? I have their full name. I have their email address, phone number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, you get the point. I keep this small plate, like I said. So I now have their contact information. Now I know I said I would follow up in a couple of days. I know I may have said, hey, would you be terribly upset if I follow up with you next week? You know what I'm really going to do? I'm following up the following day, not to sell them, but to schedule a time where I can say hi, hello, and really drop in and give them a chance to make an educated decision. I want you to pay attention to that. Give them a chance to make an educated decision. That's the goal, to educate them about the service. Our value prop is so good, we don't need to sell people. Just expose them to it, right? A lot of business owners some of them may have heard about our legal plan. But I'm telling you, virtually none of them are aware that we actually offer business services. They are always shocked by that. Okay. So why am I following day? Because I know every day that goes by, they remember those warm, fuzzy feelings they have from me. A million people are dropping in on them. I've differentiated myself by not trying to sell them, but the bottom line is I want to still be fresh in their minds when I follow up, right? I want to take advantage of the fact that they're going to remember me and remember how they felt when I introduced myself to them. All right. So I'm following up the following day, scheduling a time. I'm reiterating the value prop, whichever one I utilized, right? Would it be 15 minutes of your time if I could show you, right? Whether it be the adult daycare approach or how I can save you thousands of dollars on your business development and business expenses, right? Now, sometimes they may say, well, look, can you forward me some information? I firmly believe that is the kiss of death. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do. And if I say yes, I can forward some information. Know what's going to come out my mouth next. Yeah, I can forward some information. If I were to send it to you today, how soon will you take a look? It's not going to be one of those situations where I send the information, I'll get back to you in a week. No, they're going to get back to you in a year, 5 years. Or if they do get back with you, it's going to be a 911. We ain't playing that game. If I forward the information today, when are you going to take a look? If I don't get a response, I can follow up with you another time. I'm so sincere. Hey, eat the fruit, spit out the seed, what works for you. But you're not going to waste my time. I'm going to communicate that my time is valuable and I'm going to be respected. And I'm going to respect your time. So if I were to forward the information to you, when would you take a look at it? Morning or afternoon? 2 days from now, 3 days from now, 1 day from now. It doesn't matter to me, but we're going to set a date and time. Why we're going to set a date and time? So I'm scheduling an appointment to follow up with you, right? And I'm honest with them. Say, look, if I were to forward information, would you take a look? They tell me a date and time, kind of come to agreement. I say, look, let's just be real. Most small business owners, particularly smart, successful entrepreneurs, don't make decisions based on phone calls or emails. Can we agree with that? And of course, the person will say, yeah, you're absolutely right. Great. It won't be the best time to follow to make sure we get those questions answered, where I can set up a time to stop by. Hey, I'll bring by Subway. I'll bring by Jimmy John's. I'll bring by coffee, bagels, right? Bribery. That's what's going on here. Straight up bribery, right? What works best for you, morning or afternoon? I cannot tell you how many groups I've closed over the years with bribery. Any respect. So that's how I go about doing that, right? And once again, remember, the goal is to introduce yourself, develop the warm fuzzies, so you can get back in front of them to give the presentation. Now, come prepared, which is why I have the iPad. Because the business owner says, hey, I have 15 minutes right now. Or, oh, I'm breaking out that iPad, right? And I'm going through the overview and I'm also sharing that app, right? Or, there's a couple tools that I really like. The Small Business Plan Recommender is a great tool, right? To be short, brief, is to the point. Learn the presentation, learn the services that are being offered. I'm still learning because of all the changes that transpire, so learn it. There's another small business tool. It's like a one pager, and it just basically cuts to the chase. Like if you were a business owner, you could access A, B, C, and D. I love that. Look, the business owners don't have bandwidth. They don't have time. You dropped in unannounced. So you can't go in there and give some 30, 40-minute, hour-long overview unless they are the one prompting that, right? I mean, they're asking them the questions. They're trying to basically shoot the stuff with you, right? That's different. but you need to be prepared to communicate that value prop with whatever tool you're using in less than 10, 15 minutes. Okay. You look, you're at their place of business. What if somebody calls? What if somebody walks in? What if they get an emergency? What if an employee has some type of, you're playing rush roulette with your time and theirs. Okay. And once a person feels like they know what something is, they're less inclined to sit down in front of you again. So if you're going to give it the shot, give it the shot. Do it quick, fast, in a hurry. And then have a three-way partner on standby if you're new doing this, right? Business owners get it. You tell a business owner, hey, that's a great question. I want to make sure it gets answered. Let me contact one of the corporate executives to make sure we get that question answered, right? Now you give them TLC. Okay. So the goal is to get in front of them, give them a chance to make an educated decision, yay or nay. Some people are going to ask, what do you leave behind? Nothing. Once again, eat fruit, spit out seed. I tend to leave nothing behind but my business card. Because once again, you give people information and they feel like they know what it is, it's going to be more difficult for you to get back in the door. The only time I leave things behind is after I've had a chance to give them an educated decision. I have a chance to give them a presentation, so I want them to have a frame of reference. But I very rarely leave things behind, okay? I walk into business owners' places when I'm driving for dollars all the time, and I'll be frank, I see other people's business cards and brochures in there. I'll tell the business owner I'm the neighborhood representative with P-Pillar Sign Legal Shield. The business cards are sitting right there. The brochures are there, right? Or pinned to something or something like that. And I asked when's the last time somebody, I don't remember. No one shared anything with me. It doesn't work. I don't know what else to tell you. It doesn't work. Not with the frequency that you think it does. And I'll be frank, I've closed many a business owner looking at somebody's business card, sitting right across on somebody's desk, or looking at some brochures somebody dropped off and just splattered all over their desk, and they never took a look at it. And if I ask that business owner, hey, have you talked to someone about this? Has someone dropped in? Because I'm not going to eat somebody else's lunch, right? We only have how many millions of people? Is 300 million people in the United States. I'm not going to eat somebody else's lunch. I'm not going to be disrespectful like that. There's enough to go around. You don't need to do that type of nonsense. But if I ask that business owner whether or not someone's been in contact with them about what it is we do, has someone educated them about that? Somebody scheduled an appointment with them and they say no, I'm just saying it doesn't work. People like me are going to eat your lunch. As we should. So I very rarely leave things behind. Now, once again, eat fruit, spit out seed. Hope this works out for you. I celebrate success in advance. As always, goodbye for now.